Hi all, welcome to Game Week 1 squads and talk about the midweek stuff and just talk about players in general I would recommend buying if you've not done so and all that kind of good stuff. So quite a bit to cover in the video. I'll run through midweek rewards first if I go to my cards. So we've got 100 limited essence, which came from one player, which was Biseli playing. It was a pity really, in all honesty, because we could have got a lot more out of it, but it's just the way the dice rolls in the grand scheme of things. Like technically it was funny how when initially it was deemed 500 but it couldn't be. But basically under 23s only had one player. Mikla could have fitted in to an under 23 squad as well, like here for example, but it would have meant I'd have got 250, but the way I was approaching it was I thought, right, I want to be putting as close to 7 man as possible to get the rewards here, when in reality, when you thought about it, I probably would have been smarter just putting as many in under 23s as usual, because that is sometimes midweek heaven, and it kind of showed here. So nonetheless, 100 essence, we will take it. Wasn't exactly expecting much this game week. Now for the weekend, for game week 1, we have our Premier League guaranteed common essence whatever happens, so you can't exactly fault it. Just using what we've been able to get from the daily packs so far. Vice isn't playing as far as I understand, but 4 out of 5 is not bad. The Frutos, no surprise, one player I have recommended quite extensively, and the Vallecano players in general. He has got a goal, an assist and a penalty assist, so he won the pen. So, and he's got 85 for me in that squad. If I had La Liga in season, then the Frutos would have been one of them, along with basically the Vallecano lad is what I fancy a lot this season. MLS, Shaq Moore was swapped in for Peltola because Matty's like unlikely to start, I believe. But Polster, Johnson, Junqua and Joseph hopefully can get close to rewards this week, as long as we're getting the essence. But it's quite underwhelming when you say to yourself, top 213 gets you 2 essence, so, and second gets you 100. It's quite underwhelming, but hey ho. MLS in general, Division 3, top 50 gets you the money, top 3000 near enough gets you the XP, and then 1726 gets you essence. And obviously because these are in season, that would make a bit more sense. But we've adjusted here with bringing Alvarez in. We had Brugman initially, but we swapped him for Polster, so we've made sure to have like a classic in season. And all that good stuff. But this team, it was this team that's had an adjustment as well. Hanny's just come in, but we'll see how those go. For our contender squads, we have made no real adjustments apart from bringing in the Gijon lads of Dubison and Otero. Allows us to run the 4 out of 5 as it were for in season. Marson obviously is not in season, he is a classic card, now he's in China, but same 5 squad, basically the same 3 squads again. We're hoping for the 300 points this time. There is a debate that I probably should have ran Yamakawa and Sasaki in the same squad and put like Nakano here for example, but I've tried to play clever and balance it out, but we'll see what happens in the grand scheme of things. It's not going to be easy. We know we're going to need at least a decisive across the board. My hope is really that it's like 0-0 for Gamba and Sandfresh for example. It's like 0-0, but we've got high AA from Shuto, Ichimori, Asako and Kurakawa. That would be an ideal scenario, but it's going to be hard. Then the champions, it's nice to finally see the full rare squad in effect. We did some late buying and brought in 2 Dimitroviches, which I'm now glad I did, especially when you see De Frutos and Lopez. I slipped up and not put in Easy Palazon in this team as well, which probably could have been seen as a bit of a downfall, because I feel like Unai, De Frutos and Palazon would have been massive points right off the bat, because Palazon's 86 and like I'd have been basically cooking her. I had like 250 points off 4 players. I'm going to have to have a look. Why does that do that? I'm going to have to ask them. But, where are we? Yeah, so 152 points at the moment, but we would have been pushing 250. If I'd captained De Frutos, would have been really laughing off the bat. So it's kind of my own fault, really. I should have really. I'm going to start maybe employing more stacks in teams from now on, especially if I'm running Collins and Wood, which is kind of stupid, really. So I've got to play smarter in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, this team excites me because like Andre should do well again this season. This team has kind of had the Palace stack put in, which was kind of I feel solid, balanced here with obviously the Angers lads and mostly Prem. Then obviously over here's kind of mixed with the classic lads that have served us well over the last year or so, and then obviously should have ran the La Liga lads for De Frutos, Lopez and Palazon, but we live and learn. Then full 7 for our under 23 squad. We are planning a second squad as we speak. I've really tried to be bold. I was bold and managed to get a Nasso for like £2, so I was quite happy. The guy had it up for like £3, and I was like, I'll give you 2, and he was like, any bar. So we've got Abata, Boyomo, Dalhouse, Kitlano, Sepp, Negli and Nasso. Obviously the multi-club only applies to Kitlano and Nasso, so it helps. But that 1% boost could prove handy. We're really just pushing for promotion. We should be good enough to get it's not promotion, sorry, should push for like rewards, but it's going to be hard. As long as all 7 are playing, I fancy my chances. But Yomo's going to be a risky one with it being Real Madrid and Osasuna, but we'll see what happens. Initially I was going to bring in Leica, but I've stuck with Abata. In the end I probably maybe shouldn't have, but Abata, Brady, Steskal and Bazuna are the 4 keepers. We've got Leica brought in because we thought, why not? I was kind of looking, I should have maybe looked at I'm going to look at midweek European goalkeepers as well, and EFL in particular, so in the under 23 department, because I feel that's going to help us a ton as well. But Romero, Penetra, Elliot, Talismagno, Broholm and Andre. Broholm, willing to still keep him is a risk, I'm willing to accept that, but Lille is kind of maybe one of the ideal teams for him to go to and really show his worth alongside like Giroud. And if he's put in say 60 plus numbers, then 60-70 plus numbers for them, we're cooking. It is a risk still holding him. We didn't expect basically when we were going ready to sell him that he was going to transfer, and that plummeted his value, so it's kind of a pity in that sense. Andre I would have probably captained initially if it wasn't against Man City, but still fancy big numbers nonetheless. Udriago, Ravish, Nasso, Minda. I'm going to try and get more mids in. I'm still trying, so see what I can do there. Beljo and Shada. Kevin's a bit of a risk. I think he's like 60-40 or 40-60 depending where you're reading. Then as I say, Dalhouse and McNulty, Keaton Clark and Bio, Yapi and Fosu. In the last squad, Caesar's not going to be playing as far as under Orfeo. They're like both 40% chances, but this is kind of why we're trying to push for more players. Same way Zabarna not likely to start, but Baselli, Unal and Aliou as well. As I said, if I'm trying to get the Michelin lads, I'm going to, Tren's got them all, and I'm going to ask nicely from Tren. Like, I tried to sort of package together on what it was, but I'll sit down, price them up, see what he says, and we'll take it from there. Because he knows he's just going to get cash from me. So I'm sure we'll get a deal over the line. Then our 4 rare all-star squads: Zeleneka, Brian Reynolds, Verdonk, Sakamoto, Venta, Flornus and Casper Denora. I was initially going to captain Verdonk, but I feel Venta might just pop off this weekend for Herenven. Don't know why, just fancying it. Malineka, Bobby Thomas. Bobby's probably not going to play now because Coventry got an £8 million bid from Sheffield United this morning. Vergever, Ukili, Richinel, Flornus and Ortuno. Yanez, Cooper, Calvo, Alexandra, Peterson, Kono and Clement. And then the last squad is Schmid, Muller, Wolf, Koza, Van der Bruggen, Otero, Peterson and Mai. Then the limited squads, this is seen, someone shared this squad, similar, and it was basically like, I think Gilhelm, it was instead of like Iraqi, it was like Verdonk. It was basically like the best 7 that was like for All-Star, like this, like last weekend or something, and it was like, if you had like Trincao and whoever else, it was basically near similar to like what this kind of squad was, but obviously not Branderhorst in net. It was whoever the best scoring goalkeeper was, and I think it was in the Sorare Discord, someone had said, oh, G had something similar and it let him down because of Branderhorst. And it was like, everyone was like, and not captaining Trincao, so they were all taking the piss. I was like, well, these things happen. But Branderhorst, Iraqi, Flornus, Fernandez, Trincao, Gilhelm and Dawan. Larsenur, Thomas, Verdonk, Ukili, Ismail Assar, Burgess and Idaguchi. Branderhorst, Tanaka, Vergever, Montero, Luis Suarez, Koetakura and Dardar, with the last squad being Tarkowski, Malineka, Bigas, Palazon, Sakamoto, Lauritsen and Venta. Very attacking, very fun. Obviously at the moment we're 1880 essence, 600 common, 1780 for limited and 1000 for rare, with 1 boost as well, with 1500 XP if this was what we were finished with on the week. But we'll wait and see. Their game week 2 should just be under 23 in arena. I'll quickly go over this quickly. All-star for us. I'm curious if Hibs covered. Are Hibs covered? No, they're not at the moment, but it's J-League, so we have some squads. We actually could run some fun squads. So J1 and... Right, so we can basically run 4 squads at limited, right? That's fine. All-star rare, nothing. Right, that's fine. That's fine. Under 23s, what can we run there? Nothing rare. Limited is a 4-man. Right. No, it's not. It's a 2-man. Shut up, Graham. Because it'll be Baselli and Paolo Bernardo. Because the Celtic Kyriat Almaty game's covered, but Paolo's not playing. I might just get shot at him or something. I'll have a think. But yeah, we'll see what the weekend brings for us, folks. But I said, for players that we said to kind of consider was like Vallecano, Wolves excite me. I said, see how Gijon do this season. NAC, there's no shortage really. Big fan of the new mission adjustments, so you can get like rare essence for pick a player who provides an assist, pick a player who scores a League 1 goal, pick a player who registers a positive defensive action in a Liga match. Not too shabby there. Obviously we don't do contender rare or anything like that. I really should, like, I couldn't do in season because I would fancy that. 275 at contender. Really make it happen, but sadly don't. Limited. We have the XP for Palazon. We did go with Keeley as well, which was kind of probably fatal. But we've got Liga defensive stand, League and goal, but sadly no one playing tonight. It'll be all over the weekend, but this I'm a big fan of. So we are on the second streak to get 300 with obviously the J1 lads. See how it goes. Obviously gets extra $10 if we make it happen. If you've not done so yet, folks, if you're not played for a while or whatever, co-op challenge, score 320 points in any single 25, 26 lineup in the same week as a friend who hasn't played since 2024. Get 100 for the rare. See what happens in that department. Obviously the common stuff, we're trying to build up the XP for various collections. and then try our hardest to build up the collections for the various teams. So Liga, you've got a chance of basically getting $100 in credits. Premier League's 100. Bundesliga should say 18, and before it suddenly says the wrong number, it would be a laugh. It says 20, but hey ho. And then Ligue 1 will say the same amount as well. So basically, if you complete all the teams, you get yourself a chance at $400 in market credits. I think if you don't claim it right away, I think you can stack them up, which wouldn't be a bad shout, especially when we've got £3 dodge from the something, but never mind. It wasn't any of this, I know that for a fact. But let me know, folks, how. Oh, it was the mission, one of the game week missions here. Sorry, that's what it was last week. But let me know, folks, what you're running this midweek, this weekend, and how your midweek stuff went as well. Have a good one, folks. Take it easy. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you all later.